My name is Olivia. I am 25 years old. I live in Chicago. I loved him with everything I had. His name was David. He had warm eyes, a quiet voice, and the kind of laugh that made me forget the world for a little while. We met on a rainy Tuesday in a small coffee shop near my office. I was sitting alone by the window, reading a book, listening to the soft jazz playing overhead. The smell of cinnamon and fresh bread made the space feel warm, even though the world outside was cold and gray. He walked in, looking a little lost. He glanced around, then walked up to my table with a polite smile. "Mind if I sit here? It's kind of full," he said. I looked up. He had kind eyes and a calm voice. Something about him felt safe, so I nodded. "Sure," I said. At first, we sat in silence. He pulled out his laptop. I kept reading. But after a few minutes, he made a small comment about the rain. I replied. Then he asked about my book. I smiled, said something small, and before I knew it, we were talking about stories, movies, travel, food. His words were light, easy, careful. His laugh was soft. And for reasons I still can't explain, I found myself smiling more than I expected. After he left, I couldn't stop thinking about him. I didn't even know his last name, but something about the way he looked at me stayed in my mind. The next morning he messaged me on Instagram. "I liked talking to you," he wrote. I smiled. That week we texted every night. We sent each other photos of our coffee, our favorite books, and silly things we saw during the day. On Friday, he asked if I wanted to meet again. "Not at the coffee shop," he said. "Let's go somewhere with music." We went to a little Mexican restaurant with string lights and soft tacos, and that night, I started to fall. 2 weeks later, we were dating. A month after that, I was in love. He made me feel special. He remembered the little things, how I took my coffee, what I said about my childhood, the way I tucked my hair behind my ear when I felt nervous. He told me I was beautiful, even in pajamas, even without makeup. He said he had never felt this way before. He talked about the future like it was already ours: weekend trips, a small apartment with messy bookshelves, a dog named Luna, and maybe someday, a daughter who looked just like me. I laughed, but I believed him. But love can change. Or maybe people just hide who they really are. At first, the change was small. He stopped texting good morning. He canceled plans. He said he was busy. He didn't ask about my day anymore. Once, we were out for dinner and he joked about how pretty the waitress was. "She's too beautiful to be working here," he said, smiling. I laughed, but inside, I felt something break. Another time I told him I missed how close we used to be. He rolled his eyes and said I was too emotional. His words cut deep, and I didn't say anything after that. Sometimes he would go quiet for hours, or even a full day. When I asked why, he said, "You always want something. Give me space." I told myself, maybe he's just tired. Maybe he still loves me. But love shouldn't feel like waiting for someone to care. Then one night, everything changed. He left his phone on the couch while he went to the kitchen. I wasn't trying to look at it, but the screen lit up. A message appeared. Just one line. "Last night was wild. Haha. Can't wait to spend time with you again." My chest tightened. My hands went cold. I felt like the room shrank around me. I stared at the message, reading it again and again. The words didn't change. They just hit harder each time. He came back into the room and froze when he saw me holding his phone. His face dropped. His smile disappeared. "Who is she?" I asked, my voice shaking. He blinked. "What?" he said, trying to play dumb. Then he laughed, soft, nervous, forced. "Oh, come on, that it's nothing. She's just a friend. She jokes like that all the time." I kept staring at him. My hands were still shaking. "She joked about last night?" I asked. She joked about not being able to wait to see you again. He walked toward me, hand reaching for the phone. Olivia, seriously, you're reading too much into this. Don't do this right now. I stepped back. Don't do this, I repeated. My voice was quieter now. You told me you were out with Mark last night. You looked me in the eyes and told me that. And you were with her. He paused. His eyes dropped to the floor. For a second, I saw the truth in his face, even before he said it. I messed up, he said softly. It didn't mean anything. I was drunk. I was upset. I thought you were pulling away from me. It just happened. I stood there, holding the phone like it was something sharp. So it's true, I whispered. You lied to me. You cheated on me. And you were going to pretend it never happened. He looked at me then, and his eyes filled with tears. I didn't want to lose you. You're the only real thing in my life. I swear I never meant to hurt you. It was just one night, Olivia. One mistake, he cried that night. He begged for forgiveness, held my hands like they were the only thing keeping him standing, and I believed him. Or maybe, I just didn't want to lose him. So I stayed. But deep down, I already knew this love was slipping away, and I was the only one still holding on. For the next few days, I walked through life like a shadow. I went to work. I smiled at people. But inside, I was still standing in that living room, holding his phone, watching the man I loved admit he had betrayed me. He started acting sweet against his sweet. He brought flowers, made my favorite dinner, sent texts with hearts like he used to in the beginning. It was like he was trying to paint over something broken, and for a while, I let myself believe it was working. I told myself, people make mistakes. Maybe love can survive this. But lies don't stay hidden forever. One Friday, I wasn't feeling well at work. I had a headache, my body felt heavy, and all I wanted was my bed and some quiet. I left the office early and took the bus home. The apartment was quiet when I walked in. His shoes were by the door, which surprised me. He told me he had a late shift that day. I dropped my bag in the hallway and headed to the bedroom. The door was half open. I heard a laugh, a voice, the soft sound of sheets moving. I stood frozen in the hallway, not breathing. My hand touched the door gently, like maybe this was a dream, and I could wake up, but I didn't. I pushed it open, and there he was, in our bed, with someone else. She saw me first. She pulled the blanket over herself and gasped. David sat up quickly, his face pale. Olivia Whitey can explain, he said, reaching out. I didn't speak. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just stood there, frozen, staring at the truth I never wanted to see. That silence said everything. I turned around and walked out. He followed me into the hallway, calling my name, saying it was a mistake, saying I wasn't supposed to be home. I didn't stop. I didn't turn back. I picked up my bag, walked out the door, and closed it behind me forever. I stayed with a friend that night. I sat on her couch in silence, not touching the tea she gave me. My hands were shaking. My chest felt empty. I'm sorry, she said. I nodded, but I couldn't speak. I didn't sleep much. My mind kept going back to that moment, the way they looked at me, the way he said my name, the way the air felt so heavy in that room. The next day, I returned to our apartment while he was gone. I packed what was mine. He left the key on the table. No note, no apology, just silence. Maybe that was for the best. Some nights I picked up my phone and hovered over his name, thinking about calling him, asking if he missed me, asking if he ever really loved me, ... But I didn't call. Instead, I looked in the mirror and whispered, "You deserve better." That was the moment I began to let go. I cried in the shower. I cried when I heard our songs in stores. I cried when I found one of his old shirts in my bag. But I also walked by the lake again. I sat on a bench each morning, breathing in the cold wind, watching the water move gently. I listened to birds, watched strangers walk by, and felt the world slowly return to me. I started reading again, writing again. I called my best friend and told her everything. She didn't say "I told you so." She just said, "You didn't deserve that," and I believed her. I still had dreams where he came back. In the dreams he held me, said he was sorry, asked for another chance. I woke up crying, but I didn't cry for him. I cried for the girl who stayed too long, hoping love would come back. One morning I looked in the mirror and didn't see a broken girl anymore. I saw a woman who had survived. I saw strength in my eyes and peace in my silence. I still believe in love, but not the kind that makes you beg. Not the kind that lies and leaves you empty. Next time, I will choose someone who chooses me fully, gently, and honestly. Someone who shows up with both hands open. Until then, I am learning to love myself in the way I once loved him, completely, without fear. That night I lit a candle and placed it by the window. Not for him, not for what we had, for me. Dot for the girl who finally chose herself. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. More emotional and inspiring stories are coming soon.